Hello! Today I'm talking about issues with my back. That was a fun intro. So yeah, you heard me right. Today I just want to talk about why I'm injured at such a young age with my lower back. Like you would think it would be a lot harder to get injuries at this age, and you'd think they'd at least heal quickly, but I'm here to tell you it's not the case with your lower back. It's it can be different with everyone. Obviously, it depends on the magnitude of the injury. It depends on what you do to try and get better, like your physio, you stretching, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's very hard to not get injured with your lower back if you don't know the information that I'm going to tell you in this video. Now, the way I got these injuries is from deadlifting. Right, simply deadlifting. It's the main cause of most lower back injuries. Okay, from my experience at least, that's the main cause of injuries, and this is why the deadlifts can never be taken lightly. And most people will tell you this, right? And even I knew this before this injury, right? I knew the deadlift was something not to be handled carelessly, right? And yet I still got injured. So I'm here to explain how that happened and what you can do to prevent this. Okay, now, the way I did this was, of course, kind of ego lifting, but it was actually after I hit a 1 rep max, right? So I hit 190 kg on the deadlift, raw, no belt, no wrist straps. It was a bit of a dodgy rep, but I got it up, right, and it still counted, and that didn't injure me, all right? Even though it was a bit of a dodgy rep, it didn't injure me. What did injure me is I did deadlifts once a week, and when I came back the next week, my back was still quite tired, and I decided, okay, we'll just go a bit lighter, we'll go 60 pounds lighter, right? I still warmed up and everything, but I did 160, and I did that for reps and multiple sets, and after that, my back went. It wasn't fully injured, but it was injured, okay? It was quite painful. It wasn't fun. I couldn't deadlift for months and months, right? I went to a physio, I started stretching, and it started to get better quite quickly. It still took months, of course. It's a lower back injury. It was horrible, it was painful. I was even taking anti-inflammatories. I was taking naproxen, it's a painkiller and an anti-inflammatory. It's quite strong. And yeah, I couldn't really get by without it. So for quite a while I was taking that. And this brought the inflammation down in my back, and it helped it recover quite a lot. But I had another slip up. So after months of physio and stretching, I got back into the deadlifts, very, very light deadlifts, right? It must have been maybe 60 kg, right? Super light. I warmed up properly, but my form was slightly off. Okay, now literally an inch off, and I pulled my back again. So what happened was, so basically, the further the bar is away from your legs, the more emphasis is put on your lower back, and that was kind of the issue for me. So what happened was, the bar was just an inch away from my right shin. It was completely touching my left shin, but my right shin there was no contact there with the bar. You should always keep the bar on your legs throughout the whole lift, all the way up and all the way back down. That did not happen with me. My form was slightly off. I hadn't been doing it for months, of course, so I was out of practice, and I pulled the right side of my lower back, like much worse than I injured it the first time. And after very, very long time, a lot of physio, my back still hurts after enough training. So basically the endurance kind of sucks in my lower back. I don't deadlift, right? I can deadlift using a hex bar because, as I said earlier, right, the further the weight is away from your legs, the more emphasis on your lower back the weight puts, right? So a hex bar, the weight's like by your sides, it's not in front of you. So it uses a lot less of your lower back. So I can deadlift with a hex bar, but I can't really deadlift otherwise. And this is quite it's quite a shame really, because I really love deadlifting. I grew to really enjoy it. After every week I was hitting new PRs, and that was with good form up until the 190. That was bad form because I really wanted 200. Once I got to 180, I was like, right, I can do this, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed the deadlift, and it really put me out. I couldn't squat either. So my squat was terrible. Couldn't leg press. I could basically just couldn't even do leg extensions. Like it was really painful for weeks. I had to go back on naproxen. It was really bad. Like if I did any sort of physical activity, I would be lying in bed in agony, and yeah, it was horrible, right? And the main reason that I did this is because I had friends that were doing the deadlift as well, and my friend hit 200 before I did, and I was really happy for him. And then I was more motivated to hit 200 myself. So that was where it all started, really. So I'm never one to ego lift, but if I'm doing it with friends, it's very tempting, right? It can be very enticing. You really want to get that extra rep, that extra set. You want to do what your friend's doing, and especially if they're stronger than you want to try and prove to them maybe that you're pretty strong too. But that's kind of what got me. Maybe I was trying to prove to myself that I was strong, but either way, I ended up injured, and I knew the consequences. I knew that your lower back is not something to be taken lightly, right? So that's why I'm making this video, because even if you know that deadlifts are quite dangerous, even if you know that you're doing everything right, like I was, like I was warming up properly and everything, even just that little slip up with form when I screwed it up, it's not worth it, right? Like doing the deadlifts, if you can get just like an inch off and completely pull you back like I did, it's ridiculous, right? It's so dangerous. So unless you're trying to powerlift, unless you're trying to compete in powerlifting, I wouldn't recommend deadlifting at all. Now, a lot of fitness influencers will tell you the same thing, right? Barely anyone that I know does deadlifts, especially older guys, or older girls. They don't do deadlifts at all, right? Because it's just so dangerous. Maybe they've injured themselves like anyway, so they don't do it anymore because of that. But yeah, I'm not saying this will happen to you. You can still deadlift, all right? But really, really, for weeks, months, practice form rather than lifting heavier weight. Make sure your chest is up at all times. There's no arch in your back. Make sure the bar stays on your legs, in contact with your legs at all times during your deadlifts, right? Because I really don't want this to happen to anybody else. It was terrible. I couldn't work out my legs for months. I think it was around 4 months before I started getting back into leg press. I went from 6 plates a side on leg press to 1.5 plates a side on leg press. It was mentally draining, right? It was horrible. So it's not just the physical side, obviously it's the mental side as well. I got really weak in my legs. My legs got smaller. I wasn't making any progress. My upper body, I could still do pretty much what I wanted, but I like calisthenics quite a lot. I couldn't really do any leg raises. They hurt. I couldn't work on my abs at all because lifting my legs up in any way hurt. I could do little things. I could do the plank, obviously, but I didn't think it was worth it. I got really demotivated in training the exercises that I used to love, right? It was really sad, but thankfully I'm quite recovered now. If I go for a run, it's a lot of impact on your back, then I will feel it, but nowhere near as painful as what I used to. So I'm much better off. Right now I'm currently squatting like 100. The other day I literally got 100 kg for 11 reps. It's been going up and up and up ever since I started squatting again. It's been great. So my motivation's way up there now. I'm doing much better, but I'm not deadlifting yet. I'm slowly getting into more advanced physio on my back, like some light RDLs and things like that, proper stretches. I had to stretch for months, and I hate stretching. I'd never have time for it, right? I'm always super busy, but I had to because my back was just in so much pain, and if I didn't stretch, it would be much worse. So I was reliant on stretching for months and months. It was terrible. So just really heed my warnings, please. Just be careful with the deadlift or even like squatting heavy, things like that. If your back is feeling too tired, just take a break. If it's been a week and it's still not right, just do some very light RDLs, stretches, and then the week after it should be recovered. And if not, you might have an injury. Talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not telling you exactly what you can do, all right? It could be a very specific problem, but if this happens to you, then yeah, please take a break. Talk to your doctor, your physio. Just make sure everything's working properly before you carry on and make yourself 10 times worse. I've literally been out for a good year and a half because of this overall, right? Like, I'm still not back to 100%, and I will get there. My physio has been telling me, like, yeah, we expect full recovery, but especially judging from what I can do now, I can squat pretty heavy, and yeah, everything's going pretty well. So yeah, you don't have to worry about me. I'm doing great. I'm enjoying my PRs and everything. My legs are much bigger than they've ever been, so I'm quite happy, really. But yeah, I just made this video to say please be careful, especially when training with others. That's when I see most injuries occur, not just in the deadlift, not just with your lower back, like pec tears, bicep tears. Like, you see this when watching like videos of people training with Larry Wheels mostly, because that dude is strong as hell. He is ridiculous. He's a beast, right? So even when other professional bodybuilders and athletes train with him, like, they know that they just want to push themselves to do as heavy as Larry, but they can't, so they end up tearing something. Or yeah, I've seen it quite a lot in videos. You can look it up on YouTube. So just be very careful, please. But yeah, that concludes this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was very informative. I just want to save people from injury, really. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! Oh yeah, you're probably wondering about my missing tooth just before I go. So this thing, it's meant to be out, don't worry. I didn't get in a fight or anything. I had my dentist pull it out because I'm getting braces. So I'm having, my bottom row of teeth had too many teeth, basically. So they pull one out and then they put braces on and it will straighten it all out, push my teeth together. And yeah, after about 2 years. Try not to cry. Try not to cry. I already hated my face enough without this thing for 2 years. It's gonna be painful. But yeah, we move. It's not gonna stop me making videos. So yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because, you know, that's probably the most interesting thing in this video. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.